how busy you are, or at least we have a pretty good idea because we're darn busy ourselves.
We are very busy people.
And it is so nice when not only do you have meals in your freezer ready to take out and you don't have to stop at the store, you don't have to order anything, you don't have to worry about
You don't even have to think about things. That's just, like, you do all your thinking in advance, and then it's like you could be having the worst day of your life. You would still be able to just pull something out of the freezer.
Absolutely. But it's also nice when some of those meals take like 30 minutes or less to actually get in your belly.
Yes. Yeah, that's a definite bonus. And I would say there's a large chunk of our recipes that are 30 minutes or less.
Definitely.
In the club, it's
a filter. You can type in 30 minutes or less and all the recipes that can be on your table in less than half an hour will populate. So you can choose your recipes for your meal plans based on that if you want. But it is one of those things that, some of ours are slow cookers, so obviously it's going to be longer than 30 minutes, but we do have a
ton of 30 minutes or less recipes. Those are great for soccer nights. They are great for you're just flying by the seat of your pants nights. They're great for, hey, the movie starts in 15 minutes. What can we do? And it can make even a great impromptu date night.
Absolutely. So that's what we're sharing with you today. And the first one that we are wanting to show you it's pretty new to us, actually. It's our sheet pan teriyaki meatballs. And the reason that we came up with this recipe in the first place is we have this other sheet pan meatball recipe, which is our sweet and sour sheet pan meatballs. And that one, like, you've got the pineapple on there, you've got the green beans on there, you've got the sauce, you've got the onions, you've got the meatballs. Like, throw some rice with it and you've got a full meal. That one is so wildly popular.
It is so popular.
And not just at our houses, but at your houses too. We hear about it all the time. So we thought, as much as we love that, it's nice to throw in a bit of variety. So let's start creating some other meatball sheet pan recipes. That was the inspiration for this. Into your large freezer bag, you're going to add your meatballs. We're just using pre-cooked frozen meatballs from the store. It's super easy. Then you're gonna add some fresh or frozen broccoli florets, red pepper that's cut into chunks, yellow pepper cut into chunks, some olive oil, salt, pepper, and some thick teriyaki sauce. That's it. That's all. You're gonna squish all these ingredients together in the bag to coat those meatballs. You're gonna get as much air as you can out of the bag so that you don't end up with freezer burn. Then you're gonna just freeze this, and on the day you go to make it, so simple. You're gonna take this out to thaw and then throw the contents of that bag onto a cookie sheet. If you wanna make cleanup even easier, you can align your cookie sheet with parchment paper and then just toss this in your oven. This cooks in 18 to 20 minutes. So in the time that it takes to make your rice, the entire rest of the meal is done. Serve this on rice or cauliflower rice, or you could serve it with rice noodles. And it is a full meal, so delicious.
It's so delicious, and probably our favorite part, besides how delicious it is that, we put parchment paper down or foil down. It makes cleanup so easy.
It's one pot, like one pan.
One pan. And so on lots of times, I don't even get a drip on it. It just gets a quick wipe and it is put back up in my cupboard for next time, because we have a lot of sheet pan recipes too.
Yes, we do. We love, easy is the name of the game around here.
I think we're starting to see a theme. And we have some one-pot recipes. We're going to have one today. We're going to show you right away. And kind of the same idea. You are cleaning one pot. And why this works so well is, you're still making the food. It is from scratch. It is ready to be cooked. But part of what makes it so fast is you're doing all of that prep work ahead of time. You did that weeks ago.
Yes.
And today you're going to have the meatballs, or you're going to have the one pot, or you're going to have the sheet pan, and under 30 minutes you're golden. This Thai basil beef skillet is another real quickie that you are going to throw into your skillet and bam, have it on your table in minutes. and it is super easy to put together. In your bag, you're going to start out with your ground beef that has been browned and cooled. You're going to add in some sliced red pepper, some sliced purple onion, some matchstick carrots, some minced garlic. We just like to use ours from a jar because also that is fast. We are adding in some fresh Thai basil leaves, if you can find them. If you can't, it is okay to use whatever basil leaves you have or you can find. We're adding in fresh minced ginger. Again, we like to use the squeezy tube because it is done for us and it tastes so fresh. We're adding in soy sauce, brown sugar, fish sauce, some salt, and some lime juice. You're gonna mix it around in your bag. You're gonna skip the bowl because we have made it clear we don't love dishes. We're going to get that excess air out of our bag and get it into our freezer. When you go to cook this, allow it to thaw. Bam, in your skillet, high heat for just a few minutes. You just want those vegetables to be tender crisp because your ground beef is already cooked. You don't wanna go crazy to town on that. Have it with some rice or with some noodles, and man, this is flavorful. It is so good. Nobody would believe you that this is a freezer meal, and this is the new generation of freezer meals, and I love that.
Potatoes are not something that freezes really well. If you're not sure what freezes and what doesn't, we do have a free cheat sheet that you can grab so that you can reference that, and then you can be a freezer meal expert too. We'll put the link for that cheat sheet down below. But in the past, we have avoided any recipes that had potatoes other than the ones that we cook up. We do have a great garlic mashed potatoes recipe. We were just talking this morning about our twice baked stuffed potatoes that are amazing.
And I'm just gonna clarify something. Raw potatoes don't freeze well.
Yes.
We use cooked potatoes all the time. Once they're cooked, they do freeze well, which is why we can do the garlic mashed potatoes, why we can do the twice baked potatoes. But now we have a secret.
Now, we have started using frozen hash browns as cooked potatoes. So then we're skipping the step of having to cook the potatoes, drain the potatoes, add the potatoes to the recipe, all the things. So yes, this isn't gonna work for every single recipe, but we've made a great baked potato soup with it. We have made a potato and chickpea tikka masala that goes in the slow cooker that's amazing. We are experimenting with this new idea, and one of the things we tried was a ham and potato soup that uses shredded frozen hash browns. So it's actually fairly different from our baked potato soup with the cubed hash browns, but the flavor is there. It's super family friendly, and because you're just using the shredded potatoes, it's so fast, even when you go to assemble this, not just on the day that you cook it up. The other thing I love about this recipe is it's a great way to use leftover ham. So if you have a ham dinner, and you know how that can go, you can have a lot left over. This is not you eating ham sandwiches for a week. This is, you can cube it up, throw it in your bag with the other ingredients, and have a totally different reimagined meal weeks from that point when you're no longer sick of ham.
Right? Yeah, you're looking forward to the ham.
So into your large freezer bag, you're gonna add those frozen shredded hash browns, some chicken broth. We suggest using a low sodium chicken broth for this recipe because you've already got some of the sodium in the ham. Then some evaporated milk, cream cheese, onion powder, chives, your ham that's been cubed, and a little bit of pepper. Just squish those ingredients as well as you can in that bag, get out your air, and seal it, freeze it. This one cooks up so super fast because those hash browns are shredded, so those potatoes are teeny tiny. You just need to cook this for, you're just gonna simmer it on the stovetop for 15 minutes. The other great thing about this recipe is that you can put it in your pot when it's just a little bit thawed. So if you forgot to take a freezer meal out and you don't have anything and you get home at the end of the day and you're like, oh no, I forgot to take out a meal, this is the perfect one to grab because all you need to be able to do is get it out of the bag, thaw it enough for that. And really, if you run it under some cold or lukewarm water. That'll be enough to, loosen it enough to get it out of your bag and into your pot. And then you're gonna bring that to a simmer it for 15 minutes. That's it. If you want, you can serve this topped with some shredded cheddar cheese or some additional chives. You could throw some bacon on here, but I think it would be overkill because you've already got the ham. So this is just a like homey, hearty, family type meal.
Totally. So one of the other big benefits of freezer meals that you might not be thinking of is teenager use. I know that you probably didn't go there first, but I have teenagers. They're older teenagers. They're fully capable, almost adults, right? Like one is driving, she's got a job, still going to, school and stuff. The other one is full teenager mode, fantastic kids. But they're old enough now that we felt like maybe my husband and I could get away a little bit and have a little trip. And that, my mom is too old to come and stay with them. And do we really need to have a grandparent come and stay with them? They're old enough. They're not going to burn the house down. It's going to be okay.
And I live two doors down.
Really, there was we had no concerns that way. We live in a super safe area. We just felt like it was
I
time.
looked in every day when I passed.
My neighbor that's across the road, I told him that we were going to be away, and I'm like, just keep an eye on how many cars are in the driveway.
Yeah.
If there was a thing to worry about, it was going to be them throwing a party. But
they did not.
They did
I
not.
checked.
They did not. They didn't. I think my son had one friend over for like an evening,
yeah.
And my daughter didn't have friends over at all, which she is super social, and it killed her. But she didn't. She just. Okay, I have really great kids, and they want to be able to do it again, so they follow the rules the first time. And we have talked about that from, when they were little all the way till now, and they understand that. So my husband and I got to go away. We went to Nashville, and that was, honestly, I didn't even realize how much bucket list stuff that Nashville held for me until we were planning this trip, until we got to go. So the first part of the trip was planned for downtown Nashville. We went and we did all the things. We went to the Opry, like the Grand Ole Opry. If you don't know what that is, it's a country music thing where if you're inducted into the Grand Ole Opry, it is like, it's just a really big deal. It just kind of means that you've made it, sort of thing. We went to the Country Music Hall of Fame. There's a million bars up and down Broadway, and my husband and I have not been bar people for a very, very long time. But this was our holiday.
And it was live music.
And we love live music. Love live music. Every single bar has, and even just restaurants, have live music all the time. You could go in at 10 in the morning. You could go in at 10 at night. You can go in, they usually shut down around 2 in the morning. And there is live music constantly. And it just is soul-filling. I will tell you that much. So we slept late a lot and then hit the nightlife of Nashville. We felt like kids again. It was just a trip. And it didn't matter if it was a little dingy bar or if it was, some of these bars are like 3 and 4 stories high. Crazy. There's no cover charge. You just walk in and walk out. It just was wonderful. The food was amazing. Nashville hot chicken, Hattie B's, thank you very much. And what it did was it just stoked us to go back because there is so much to do. Plus, there's like the Bluebird Cafe where it's a songwriter's cafe and you go in and you audition to get there. And then if the right person is in the audience and hears you and you could be, that's how a lot of people have gotten their big breaks. I know it was featured in the TV show Nashville that I have never watched, but I watched the documentary about the Bluebird Cafe.
It's in the movie A Thing Called Love or A Little Thing Called Love or something. This Thing Called Love. Anyway, It's a great Nashville movie. It's old, but
I will have to watch it. I'll have to look for it.
It's a fantastic Nashville movie.
Everything was just, it was great. So one other bucket list thing that I didn't even know was a bucket list thing, the Opry was. The Country Music Hall of Fame, absolutely. We did the Studio B tour of the Country Music Hall of Fame, and that is where like Elvis recorded much of his stuff in Studio B. And I, growing up the way I grew up, I was familiar with a lot of old country artists because my parents liked that. So a lot of that was very comforting to me to see, this is where Hank Snow, he's a Canadian snowbird, the Canadian yodeler. He had a lot of yodeling songs. I knew who he was. George Jones, Jim Reeves, Eddie Arnold, like Marty Robbins, like they were all there. And so I knew their names, I knew their faces, I know their songs. And all the way up to, like, right now at the Country Music Hall of Fame, there is a huge spread on Luke Combs, and they have everything from like art that he did in grade 1. It was really fantastic. I just could not be more impressed. The second half of our trip was at a marriage conference. If you know who Dave Ramsey is, he's a money guy in the States, and he's based out of Franklin, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Nashville. And he has a radio show, and we've read a few of his books and followed him for a long time, and he has helped us make good money decisions for many years. And
us too.
Yeah.
Like, we did the debt snowball, my husband and I. It's one of his practices.
Tactics,
And it got us out of debt other than our mortgage. And we thought we would never.
Right.
Just because it's his baby steps.
It's his baby steps.
Yeah.
And so they have 7 of them. And so what this conference was, it was at he's kind of got a campus. Like, there's an office building, and then there's like the building that has his studio in it. And then they have a conference center. So it was held at the conference center, although there was a gala in the building that had his studio. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like a whole campus there. I was super impressed. And it was run by Dr. John Deloney and Rachel Cruz, which is Dave's daughter. And so it was relationship advice, and it was money advice. And it was just 3 days and we had just spent 3 days of just being kids again. And so to sit there for 3 more days, like, people are like, why would you go to a marriage conference? What are conferences and seminars for? You go and learn new things about the stuff that you're doing. And it's usually business related, or there's a lot that are like lifestyle related, or, why wouldn't you do that for like the biggest business in your life, which is our marriage? So we have gone to many marriage conferences over the years, and we do really like them. And so this was just one. It was just a way of us taking care of our marriage, and so we like it.
Pictures of this, it's like a prom. It was like this dance, and there's a photo of her and her husband under this balloon
with the
arch.
balloon arch.
And it was like, she's at prom.
We
so
kind
funny.
of were. They had a photographer come. It was open bar. It was fancy. It was very nice.
Macarons.
Oh yeah, the food was good. It was a denim and diamonds theme, which allowed you to wear jeans. Like, if you weren't a dress-up kind of person, you could go and still feel comfortable. But if you wanted to be on the diamond end of it, you could go all out and fit in just as well. It was brilliant. And it was on Valentine's night. Like, come on.
So sweet.
It was super sweet. So we just had a beautiful time. Nashville was a wonderful city. The people were so friendly. It was just kind of checked all the boxes that some of them I didn't even know that I had. So I have been away for a while, and where this is all going.
Because it ties into freezer meals.
Charlotte and I have just done a mega session where we made over 100 recipes. We divide them, and so she gets half, I get half.
I'll put it right up there.
Yeah, and so my freezer right now is full of meals that you can make in less than 30 minutes. Some of them on the skillet, some of them in the oven, some of them on the stovetop, some of them in the air fryer. And my kids, every one of these you've seen us put the label on. Every one of these has labels. There is no reason in this world why my kids wouldn't be able to feed themselves every single night.
Because the cooking instructions are right there.
The cooking instructions are right there. So I felt so confident that they were going to be fed, that they were going to be well taken care of, even from afar. We talked every day, and it was totally fine. But freezer meals are part of what made that possible. So that is a long way to say freezer meals are for everybody. And I don't know if it just gave me a peace of mind that, like, honestly, even if they didn't eat them, because they had them,
gonna starve.
They were not going to starve. And I think they ran out of milk, which my daughter could have totally gone to the store and bought milk.
While Christy was away, it's funny because I had told her, oh yeah, I'll have your kids over for dinner one night. Now they did.
They're just going to come and eat a freezer meal that they would have had in our fridge.
The same meal they would have had at home, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
but at least I know that they're gonna like it. But even though her kids knew they could contact me for emergencies, they had my number, they know they can walk over here. I mean, they know, and they're super comfortable here. But I ended up not being able to have them over because we got hit with this stomach bug, and then it turned into a cold afterwards. It was one of those flus that just
kept on giving
every day. Totally. And so here we were, and I was in bed. It was just, where you just get knocked out for the count. I didn't let myself stay in bed for more than one day, even though I was sick for about 6. But freezer meals saved me too. They saved the day over here, because from the day I was in bed and not eating anything and not moving, my family still ate. But even after that, it was I couldn't go to the store. I didn't want to pass this along to anybody in public. So it was just I still had everything I needed. I could go out. The one thing that I realized at that time that I was short on was actually breakfast, lunches, and snacks. So I did do the following week, I did fill my freezer as I was starting to feel better. So now I have breakfasts and lunches and snacks. And I didn't actually do waffles in that video, which I intended to do that day, and then I ran out of time. But then the next day I was I have teenagers too, and young adult, I have totally competent children. So I'm here's the recipe from the club. Go make some waffles. And so now I do have waffles in my freezer. And I enjoyed one this morning, as a matter of fact. So, yes, all that to say that freezer meals save the day. It's the little bags have little capes on them.
Right?
And they're woo, superheroes.
Oh, you're funny. That is true. That is awesome. Yeah. So the next recipe we have for you is the honey chipotle chicken. Into your bag, you're going to add your boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and then you are going to add some vegetable oil, some honey, chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. So this sucker is spicy. Some chili powder, paprika, cumin, oregano, and 5 garlic cloves that have been peeled, and a whole whack of cilantro. You're going to mix it around to make sure your chicken is good and coated with this marinade. You're going to get that excess air out, seal it up, and freeze it. When you go to cook this, you can do all kinds of things with it. You can cook this in the slow cooker, in the Instant Pot, in the oven, or on the barbecue, or in the air fryer, because this is a marinade that is marinating your chicken. You're just eating the chicken here. You're not really eating the sauce. Man, this is versatile. It is tasty. And I did warn you that it's spicy. If you don't want that much spice, just either skip the peppers or put one in.
Yeah, you can still put the adobo sauce from the can in.
You can put the sauce in and skip the peppers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's options there.
Lower the amount of chili powder. It's so easy to adapt all the recipes, but especially for spice.
Totally. And I will tell you, in the Freezer Meals 101 Club, one of our keywords is spicy. If you like the spice and you're looking for spicy meals, you can, totally add the spicy meals and figure all those out, no problem.
Make a custom meal plan called Spicy.
The Spice of Life.
Right.
Do you make exciting names for your meal plans?
Mine
are usually very functional.
Yeah, or mine are because sometimes I'll make meals for someone. So whether it's one of my adult kids who's grown and gone, or whether it's a friend who just had surgery or lost someone that, in their life or whatever. So so mine are called Heather's meals, or
nice, yeah.
Our family, or
I've had one where my brother and his wife are coming for the weekend, and so I just had their names and coming for weekend.
Yeah, I have camping meals.
Yeah. Or where we're going camping. We're going to Sylvan Lake or Rocky Mountain House.
That's smart.
Yeah, and that way I can also remember, I can go back and look at it and be I'll just use that one again because it was a good one. Or this one didn't really work out so well camping. I'll trade it out for a different one.
Or swap this recipe for this recipe.
Yeah, totally.
Or whatever.
Totally.
I should come up with some more clever names, just make it more fun.
Why I think of that, and not that we can do this, but on Spotify, the artists, if they really wanted to go and look, they can see the names of the playlists that you are adding your songs to. And so My playlists, I feel like, are pretty creative. And then I look at my daughter's playlists and she had like, it's a whole different animal of what she comes up with. But I just remember somebody saying that it was like on a reel or on a meme or something.
Yeah.
Just so you know, we can see that, whoever the artist was.
That's funny.
That is totally funny.
My playlists are similar to your meal plans because if we're doing a road trip, I'll make a playlist for
the road trip.
And then it'll be like Panorama Drive.
Yeah.
2024 or, you know, Driving to the Island 2023 or like whatever.
We had a playlist called Moab 2017.
Oh, yeah, for your Moab trip.
My husband and I took our kids down to Moab, Utah, and we went quadding. Like, we took our ATVs, we camped in our camper on our truck, and we had a huge playlist, because it's a 22-hour drive, right? So we had this huge playlist that was probably 300 hours. I think if I just ever had heard that song and liked it, it went on the playlist. And we played that playlist for like 4 years straight. And it was just on a little tiny SD card in our truck stereo. And then we sold the truck. And that playlist went with it.
No.
Yes. But I have good news. Don't worry. It survived. Because somewhere along the line, I uploaded it to YouTube. I think I had the free YouTube music for the 2 months or whatever. So you didn't get channels or you didn't get commercials when you were watching YouTube. And I put it in there, and then recently, my husband, believe this or not, he sprung for premium because he just couldn't stand. We watch a lot of YouTube at our house, and so he went for premium, and I was just kind of going through the music again, and I'm like, oh, guys, I have the Moab 2017 playlist, and it was a happy moment. Like, we kind of had a little cheer in our family, and my kids are older teenagers, and they were happy about that.
That's awesome.
It was so funny.
Okay, I have a Spotify story for you, but we're going to give you a few more recipes before we get there. We told you earlier that we were going to share with you a one pot. So this is all of our one pots are good.
They're all good.
This one is like, oh, that's my descriptive word. I'm embarrassed now because I just finished reading, like, not that long ago, the Ruth Reichel, I hope that's how you pronounce her name, but she's a food critic, or was a food critic for the New York Times, and the way she describes food, and I do not have that skill, so this is my, like, oh. Anyway, all right. Our one pot sausage rigatoni. Into your large freezer bag, you're going to add your ground Italian sausage that's been browned and cooled. I like to use the spicy Italian sausage personally, but you can use mild or whichever one you want. Then some chicken broth, heavy cream, minced garlic, Italian seasoning, tomato sauce, or you can use the red sauce from the Freezer Meals 101 Club, and some salt, pepper, and red pepper flakes. You're just gonna squish that in the bag to combine it, seal it, get out your air. Then when you go to make this, you just thaw it and you pour the whole thing into a pot, and then you're going to add your pasta right into your pot. You're gonna cover it and cook it, like simmer it for around 10 or 15 minutes. You want that rigatoni to cook up. Then you're gonna add in some fresh spinach leaves and let that wilt up. And that is where you can be like, if you don't have time to make a salad, if you don't have time, like, you could pick up a salad in a bag, or you could make a really amazing homemade salad. But if you don't have time, you can be like, there's veggies.
There's spinach in it. It's
and
healthy.
Tomato sauce,
and
onions,
sauce,
and garlic, right? Is there onions? No, I lied about the onions. Anyway, okay, so
if you can find the link for the recipe down below. This one is in our club. Is it on the main site?
Yeah.
And on the main site, you can absolutely check this recipe and double check our work.
Yes, and then you'll know that there are in fact no onions. I just assumed because so many of our recipes have onions,
we have a lot of onions in our recipes.
No onions in here. So you've got your amazing sausage rigatoni where, because the noodles cooked up right in the sauce, they like absorb those flavors, and it's just like all the goodness and coziness and all the things. And then if you want, you can sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese on there. If you want, you can have some garlic bread. Did you know you can also make freezer garlic bread. So
Yes,
then
you can.
just pull it out. And
We have a
toss it
recipe
in
for
your
that
oven.
too.
We sure do.
And it's really good.
So however you serve this one, you're gonna love it.
This Cajun garlic butter snapper, or you can use cod. Man, oh man, this is just lovely. Straight up lovely. And you would not believe that it's a freezer meal, and it's gonna cook up so fast. You could feed this to company. If you have, okay, fish is divisive. If you have company that likes fish, you could totally feed this to them. And again, they would not know that it's a freezer meal. And it cooks up so fast, and it's just fresh tasting and lovely. Into your bag, you're going to add your snapper or cod fillets. They can be fresh or frozen. You're going to add minced garlic, some melted butter. You're going to add in olive oil, some Cajun seasoning, and paprika. Mix that around in the bag. Allow those spices to really get on all of your fish in there. Seal it up and freeze it. When you go to cook this, allow it to thaw. Now, this is a lovely one because it will not take long to thaw. This really, when they say thaw it overnight in your fridge, this one really will thaw overnight in your fridge. You are going to cook this in your oven on a foil lined baking sheet at 400 for 12 to 15 minutes. I dare say you could probably do it in the broiler as well if you wanted to see if you could get a bit of color on your fish. And you can do this one in the air fryer at 400 for 8 to 10 minutes. Flip it if you can. Sometimes fish decides to we're gonna separate, and it's hard to flip fish, especially in an air fryer. I have the double drawer air fryer where you kind of really gotta, it's a weird angle. I would be tempted to just not flip this one at all. I would even be tempted to do this one in a skillet, to be honest. And
you could totally
put a lid on it. You fry it. Okay, here's my favorite way to fry a fish. You put the fish in, you cook it until 4 or 5 minutes. Then you flip it over, put a lid on it, and shut your burner off.
Oh, yeah.
You don't overcook it. It gets steamed. You're having all of that flavor packed in there. And okay, fish is fully cooked at 145. Just for the thermometer people out there, because I see you, because I am one, and you just need to know that. So fish is cooked at 145. You don't need to go higher than that. Overcooked fish is not fun for anybody.
No.
And
I tend to overcook my fish, and then my husband's always like, it's really good, except...
Yeah, it's easy to do, right?
The flavor's good, but...
Yeah. So you can do my trick in the skillet.
I could totally do your trick.
Yeah.
I find if I follow the instructions exactly, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
But, well, as those things go.
We put the instructions on there. They're just a suggestion. No. Yeah, if you follow them, it'll be fine. You could serve this with, a nice side. I would do probably green beans or maybe some broccoli with this. And we are a potato house. So I would do little baby potatoes or something with rosemary or maybe a dill cream sauce on them.
Yeah. And I would probably do a saffron rice from our rice house or... although potatoes would be really...
I think potatoes would be nice
really,
with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling you that I was going to tell you my Spotify story. My husband knocked it out of the park this year at Valentine's Day. I've never experienced anything like this before. So in our house, Valentine's is not a huge deal for my husband and I. I've always made it about the kids. I've always made it a really big, a big day to celebrate because I think love is something to celebrate. We love our friends, we love our family, we love our parents, we love our kids. The people that you love, it doesn't have to be a romantic love. And I didn't want to set my kids up for that Hollywood expectation of where,
Right, where it's really over the top, it gets very expensive, and you get disappointed when it doesn't meet your standards of what it's supposed to be.
Completely. And
right?
If your expectations are high, you're going to feel crushed. The person who tried to celebrate you on Valentine's Day is going to feel crushed. It doesn't help anyone to have the high Hollywood expectations.
Not
of
everybody
Valentine's.
goes to a marriage conference on their
And gets the
on
prom.
Valentine's Day. I will tell you though, the gift that we got each other for Valentine's Day is the same gift that we get each other every year. And it was like, you know how Hallmark cards in general have just gotten more and more expensive, right?
Yeah.
And so this one, it has like, it's a pop-up and it plays music. So I paid like $10 for this card, and I gave it to my husband about 5 years ago, and I didn't put his name in it and I didn't sign it, and I put it back in the envelope and I gave it to him again the next year. And I've been giving it to him for 5 years, and every year he's like, "That's really great, honey, thanks." And so this year, because we were going to be away, I slipped it in my suitcase.
Oh, that's funny.
And so we were like laying in bed in the morning, and we opened it up together, and we had a good giggle over this silly little thing that has now become an important thing.
Right.
And so really it can be that simple. But yours this year was simple but over the top at the same time. I just love it so much.
Over the top. So we were going to go to our friend, friend of Christy's too, our mutual friend. They do fire sculptures, which is like this crazy hobby, just amazing. And it's their 3rd year doing it.
Is it?
And
I missed a year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
3rd year. And I really wanted to support them, but it fell on Valentine's Day. So I was a little bit like, not disappointed, but I was like, okay, well, I guess this determines our Valentine's Day. And it was cold. We live in Alberta, Canada, and we were in the middle of a cold snap. So when I say cold, like cold for here.
Yeah.
So it was about minus 30 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit.
Minus 40 and minus 40 are the same, Celsius and Fahrenheit. So go ahead and do some math. It's cold.
It's cold. Yeah. All you need to know is it's cold. Cold to the point where my thighs afterwards
tingled. They get that burning.
Sore and burning, yeah. And then you go, like you can hardly warm up after. Anyway, so we must care about this friend an awful lot to be willing to go in the cold outside. But that was our plan for Valentine's Day. So I know going in. And then a few days earlier, my husband said, I made us reservations at a restaurant, but because it has to be after this thing, it's at 9 o'clock. Right. And I'm like, we are too old.
We're not 9 o'clock dinner people.
Having dinner at 9 o'clock in the city. We live out in the country. So it was, dinner in the city. So we're going to get home at like 11:30, 12. Which I was like, look at us go. Like you guys staying out late in Nashville.
I know. We had to like sleep in late just so we could do that.
Yeah. So I was like, I really appreciated that he made those reservations. I thought it was so thoughtful. And I just like already was impressed. And already I was like, this is going to be a great Valentine's Day. So he's already got points in my book. He's already good. Like he's off the hook. He's
made the dinner reservation.
Valentine's Day. Yeah. Then we're about to leave and we've got our jackets on because we're going to go to this cold fire sculpture thing. As an aside, this year he did it like, I think it was 18 feet tall, and it was a big giant heart because of Valentine's. Oh. And his wife named it Hunka Hunka Burning Love. And so funny. They were playing that song and, cool. And when it fell, it kind of like, because it's on fire. So eventually, it sort of tumbled, like it somersaulted outwards, which was really cool. We're like, did you plan that? Of course, you can't practice.
You can't practice how something's going to...
Fire sculpture,
how it's going to fall apart.
You get the one shot.
Yeah.
So we're leaving, we've got our coats on and everything, and then my husband says, actually, can you take your coat off? And he asks one of our daughters if she can videotape us.
I'm going to say one more thing before you get to the climax of this story, because this wasn't in their backyard. Edmonton is the city that we live close to. It is the city of festivals. And we have a festival called the Silver Skate Festival, and it's over 2 weekends. And there are many fire sculptures. And so there's one every night, and his was just that night. I just didn't want you to think that he's doing this for fun in his backyard, which would be totally cool too, but it was part of an overarching festival that was happening in our city.
And they have ice sculptures there, and they have
snow sculptures.
Yeah, it's an interesting
storytelling. Thing. It's beautiful actually, and it's usually at night, and it's other than very, very cold.
Cold. Like this year, I was actually saying to my husband, maybe they know from the almanac or, like just from history that this is traditionally one of the coldest weeks of the year. And so they're safe to book it. And
to
not
do the
have
fire.
like the ice sculptures and fire, like and snow sculptures melt.
Yeah.
Because there was no chance of anything melting. It was just cold. So we're in the kitchen, and my husband says, "I just thought we could start our Valentine's night with a dance." And I'm like, "That's so
How
that's
romantic,
so sweet.
right?
How romantic! We're gonna start our date with a dance. Like, wow." And he had played me a song by a country artist like about 4 days earlier, 3 or 4 days earlier. And he'd been like, listen to the words of this song. It's pretty nice, hey? And so we had danced to that song, making it sound like we just have this like such a romantic relationship. He's awesome, but I mean, this is not the norm. I just want to set the stage for you.
This was special.
Not the norm.
This was special.
So then this night he says, remember that artist that I played you that other song from? I've been listening to more of his music, and I found a song of his that really like fits us. Like it's really good, like the words are really good. And I'm a lyrics person, and he knows
She's
that.
a lyrics person.
So he knows I'm going to listen to the words of the song. So we start dancing. I'm not suspicious at all. I just think, oh, this is so sweet. And I'm also thinking like, we got to go because we're going to be late for this fire sculpture. Anyway. And it says like that we met at a seminar, and I was like, oh, we met at a seminar. Like, this is so perfect. Wow. I'm just, and then it says like that I thought you were too young, and I'm like, you thought I was too young too. That's so cool. Like,
I'm so glad you found this song.
Totally. I can't believe you found this song. Anyway, so I did not clue in that he had the song written for me until the part of the chorus where it says my name. And in the last verse, so the middle verse is just like, whatever, it's fine. I mean,
it's about you.
It's about us, but, but the last verse is like super personal. It talks about like, if you've watched our channel a while, then you know that one time we went camping and there were rats in our trailer. And so the song talks about the rats in our camper. And it talks about like how I converted him from Coke to Pepsi. It's very specific, right? Anyway, it was the best gift I think I've ever gotten in my life. I laughed so hard. And now, every time he plays the song, when it says my name, I laugh hysterically. I can't stop. And it's been like more than a week or 2 weeks. I don't know. It's been a long time now. And I just still think it's hilarious. And now it's on Spotify. And so we sent it like to our kids and stuff. And our oldest son, I sent it to him days ago, and he hasn't gotten back to me.
He hasn't listened to it yet.
I don't think he's listened to it, and he likes country music, and it's a country song. And so he's gonna love it, but I don't think he's listened to it yet because.
Or if he has, is he a lyrics person? Or were you specific?
Yeah, he is a lyrics person.
Yeah, he kind of is a lyrics person.
He would, because he sends us songs too that he likes the lyrics of. So anyway, that was my over the top, unbelievable,
that is over the top,
Valentine's gift this year. And I don't even usually get a Valentine's gift. Just to again put this in context, it's like I don't even usually get a card. So this was.
I have a solution for that.
Totally. Anyway, now he never has to write me a card again because he can just play the song. He has gotten so much mileage out of this one.
There are some serious brownie points.
It's so funny because the song says I choose you then. If I can put it in the video, I will. I don't know if I'm
You can put a link for Spotify.
I can. If I can't put it in here, if I'm not allowed, you know how there's copyright and whatever. I don't know if I have the copyright rights to this song. I will put the Spotify link down below if I can't link the actual video of the thing. But anyway, it says
The video is of them dancing in this kitchen,
Yes.
taken by their daughter, who was in on it.
she totally was in on it. She totally knew. And so it says, I choose you now like I chose you then. And so every time in the last however long it's been since then, that something happens where, you know, like my husband forgets to do something or whatever, then he's like, I chose you then, or I choose you now like I chose you then. Like he's getting mileage out of this. And then I just laugh and he's off the hook for whatever. So it's just...
That's so awesome.
Anyway,
I love that so much.
Yes, I'm really, and when I have a bad day, I just have to think about that, and I'm like, oh, I'm like,
If I'm having a bad day, I think about you saying, we met at a seminar.
it's so funny. I totally was clueless. There's even another part after that where it's just totally about us too, and I'm like,
What a coincidence.
so perfect. But like, how would you think that somebody wrote a song? Like,
Why would you know? I've seen a few of them on like Instagram, like as commercials, like
Yeah.
little ads where they're doing it, and it's usually a husband and wife in a car, and one of them has arranged it for the other. And you never know how real that is, because who films you? Some people do. Some people, especially if they're content creators, they will just drive around with their car filming all the time. But because it was Valentine's Day and you were dancing, it was kind of sweet that your daughter was filming.
Totally.
So that wasn't going to tip you off.
No. No.
Oh, it's funny.
And then afterwards, my husband told me, your reaction was the same as the wife on the Facebook ad. So, and he saw somebody in the Facebook ad, he saw somebody like driving in the car.
Honestly, do you know what you should do? Is find the link for the guy who does this and put that down below too. Because if you have a loved one in your life, and because now I'm thinking, this can be played at your 30th wedding anniversary. It can be played at your 50th wedding anniversary. It can be like, this is. You have a theme song.
I know, like we're doing a vow renewal this year, which we were supposed to do a few years ago, but life happened and it didn't, we didn't. And so we're supposed to do it this year. I don't even want to say that because the last one was like booked and planned and whatever, and it got canceled. So I'd be like hoping that we are doing it in November. And but then I'm like, we've kind of been talking for a couple years of like what song we're gonna use, and like we're gonna do a video for it, because we're gonna do it just the two of us, and then we're gonna come home and maybe have a party. And at the party, we would show the video. And so now I'm like, well, you know.
We met at a seminar. I love it.
So there you go.
I love it.
We are chatty today.
Gosh, it's like we haven't seen each other in a while, and it's kind of true.
We haven't. Well, we have. As soon as she got home from Nashville, we went to like an indoor walking track because it's too cold to walk outside. Although
there are people out there that are
warmed up.
Oh, it has warmed up. We're having like the opposite of a cold snap. It's going to get sloppy on the roads here.
Yes, yeah. It's going to be above freezing.
I wear my light jacket over today.
I know. So we did get together. To be fair, as soon as she got back,
she said, "Well, I wanted to hear about her week, and she wanted to hear about mine." And I said, "You and I should get together first and get all of that out of the way, so that when we get together with the boys, we don't just dominate the conversation, because we have totally done that before, and then they're sitting there watching us talk, and that's not fair."
Yeah, so we're like, let's just
get it out of the way.
And then we also thought, if we kind of get it out of the way, we won't do it with you, but we just did it anyway.
I didn't tell you all the nitty gritty. Okay, I will tell you this. One of my bucket list things I didn't know was a bucket list thing. I got to hear Freebird live. It's this Lynyrd Skynyrd song. It's got this whole lore around it. It's a whole thing. And in Nashville, you can pay to make requests. And this band, they're called Dan Hilbert and the Haybirds. And husband and wife band, lovely people. Like there was 4 of them, not all married, but And somebody requested. He said, "Hey, we'll take donations for requests." And somebody said, "Would you do Freebird?" And he's like, "For $100." They went to a bank machine and went and got $100 American dollars and gave it to them, and they did. They had to gear up for it because it's a big song to play, and they played Freebird. I recorded it, the whole thing, and I almost cried. I went home and I texted my kids. I'm like, you're not going to believe what happened to me tonight. And that was the highlight of my day, was watching somebody play Freebird live. Just crazy.
You didn't even know you wanted. Like,
I didn't even know how bad
that.
I needed to see that, because I've never been at a concert. It's a thing where it used to happen a lot more than it happens now. But if you're at a concert, and it didn't matter the concert you're at, you could be at Bryan Adams, you could be at The Weeknd, and somebody would say, play Freebird. And then the band would play Freebird. And it's like a 9-minute song, and it's got some absolute shredding guitar solos. And it's just a great song, but it's like 9 minutes.
No wonder they needed the $100.
They needed the $100, and they needed to gear up for it, because it is a very difficult song to play. Not so much to sing, but to play. Wow. I'm just like living in that moment in my head right now. I'm just so excited. So yes, we had to get all of that out of the way before we talked to you and we talked to them, but it didn't help.
No, we're still chatty today, but it's all good.
It's all good.
Like, it's so sunny and warm.
And don't go anywhere, because we still have a recipe left.
We do, but we have timestamps. So
yeah, we timestamp it.
Late to be telling you now, but you can skip
If you've
that.
been around, you can skip it.
And you can find the recipe links down below. Okay, this next one is, I feel like we're like transitioning weirdly, but that's okay. Just stick with us. Is a hamburger pasta casserole, and where the, Cajun garlic butter snapper was a little bit elevated and you could serve it to guests, this is like just homey, family, like it's got nostalgic vibes to it. And for this one, it just, it's your full meal pretty much. It just cooks up all together. So this one, we're taking a bit of a departure from what we usually do, because usually we mix all of our ingredients together in a bag, and then we don't have to dirty a bowl. For this, you are gonna dirty a bowl, but I know.
Okay.
It's tragic. But you're gonna do all the work on the front end so that the day you go to serve this one, it's all done. You don't have to make any sides, you don't have to do anything. And because you're doing all the work on the front end, we recommend that you at least double this, if not quadruple it, because it takes you just as much time, because then you're just gonna cook up some extra pasta. You're just gonna fry up some extra ground beef, but you're gonna dirty the same amount of dishes. And then you can end up with 4 meals from it, or at least 2. Or you could double it, have one tonight, and freeze the other one. So however you decide to make this, you're going to cook your pasta, but you're gonna undercook it 1 to 2 minutes under what the package directions recommend. That way, when you cook this up later, you're not gonna get mushy pasta. So you're gonna drain that, and then in a bowl, you're gonna mix together, you're gonna drain that. Then in a bowl, you're gonna mix together your pasta, your browned and cooled ground beef, some diced onion, minced garlic, some frozen mixed vegetables, so you can use whatever kinds are your favorite. Then some pasta sauce or our red sauce, tomato paste, Worcestershire sauce, oregano, basil, salt, and pepper. You're gonna mix that all together in your bowl till it's combined, and then you're gonna transfer that into a large freezer bag. You're gonna take the air out and seal it. Then you're going to put some mozzarella cheese and cheddar cheese in a quart-size freezer bag. You're gonna seal that one, and you're gonna staple the 2 bags together above the seam, same thing. You're gonna staple those bags together above the seam so that you have everything you need. When you go to make this, you're gonna thaw it. You're going to spread all the large bag contents down into a casserole dish. Top it with the shredded cheese from that bag. That is so handy to have. You're just gonna bake this one at 400 for 15 to 18 minutes. Like really, in the time that it takes you to change out of your work clothes, or to, like, I don't know.
I don't even know.
Go run a load of laundry, like whatever. You can do something else quickly and come back and your full meal is ready. And this is, like I said, it's just like that cozy comfort meal type of thing. The whole family enjoys it. Because this one is simple in a lot of ways, it's really easy to customize it. If you like things spicier, you can add in some red pepper flakes. If you want like a totally different feel to it, you just change out the frozen mixed vegetables that you use. And you can use like a completely different blend. You can use really simple, like your carrots, peas, and corn blend, or your, green beans. Like you can use just one kind of vegetable, so just frozen corn or like whatever it is. Or you can use some of like the California blend or the Asian stir fry blends. Like, I don't care. No one is policing you on this.
And that's the other great thing about freezer meals. If you don't like onions, don't put them in anything. She's allergic to celery. We don't use celery in anything. If you like the celery, put it in,
So easy.
So easy.
Just make it your own. And we really encourage you all the time to make things your own. Put your own stamp on things. The other thing that we tell you is that done is better than perfect. So if you go to make this and suddenly you realize, oh no, I forgot to get mozzarella cheese. Well, that's okay. Just do the cheddar. Or if you realize like, oh, I forgot to get frozen mixed vegetables. That's okay. Just put a note on the bag, like right on the label, just add 1.5 cups of frozen vegetables on the day of, and then right away, just go add that to your shopping list. However you do this, just getting it done is the important part. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be made and in your freezer so that future you doesn't have to think about dinner because it's already done.
It's already done.
We really appreciate you being here with us. If you are still here, you deserve like a little prize, a certificate.
I'll give you a card. No.
Yeah. Christy's open card with the
Charlotte
song
will
in it.
get a song written for you.
It is it has been a rambly video, but we had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun.
Thank you again. We hope that these meals help you get dinner on the table much quicker and most of all, with much less effort and thought behind it. Happy cooking.